watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. ECZ left with 9 days to register 5 million voters ahead of the 2021 election. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI acquitted over allegations of using hate speech against an Indian contractor. Vice President INONGE WINA says Zambia has engaged South Africa over its finance minister's unwelcome remarks over debt. And in international news, court rejects ex-president BOZIZE'S election candidacy. And in sports news, Chicken George officially ditches prison leopards to join ice cream makers in Tanzania. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact +260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Msika, allowing your business to grow. Have you had issues in your life and family? Has your life been stagnant or you have been going in circles? All hope is not lost. Your life will bounce back again. Dr. Francis Miles will be speaking at the Courts of Heaven Conference on Thursday 3rd and Friday 4th December 2020 from 17 hours to 19 hours. On Saturday the 5th of December 2020, Dr. Francis Miles will conduct a full-day seminar on destroying evil limiting altars. Time 09 hours to 16:30 hours. Lunch and drinks will be on sale. On Sunday, Dr. Miles will conduct a service at 09 hours to 11 hours with your hosts, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Music by Kings Malembe Malembe. Admission is free.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. Justice Minister Given Lubinda says the election of Dr. Inonge Mbikusta-Lewanika as member of the African Peer Review Panel of Eminent Persons will advantage Zambia through various opportunities such as enhancing Zambia's profile in the area of governance. Mr. Lubinda, who is the focal point of the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRAM, says Zambia is optimistic that the key elements of APRAM, namely integrity, independence, professionalism, and credibility, will further enhanced during the tenure of Dr. Lewanika. Speaking when Dr. Lewanika paid a courtesy call on him at his office in Lusaka, Justice Minister says the government expects Dr. Lewanika to demonstrate objectivity and impartiality in the country's missions that will be assigned to her charge.
The Ministry of Justice is looking at revising the mandate of the National Governing Council to make its presence more visible. We would like to see that the National Governing Council's work is seen in all ministries of government, that the National Governing Council interacts with all civil society organizations and the private sector. Because as a matter of fact, that is the reason why the Africans on the continent decided to start the initiative of the Africa Peer Review Mechanism. Without a strong and viable National Governing Council, whatever we do shall be done in vain. It is therefore my hope, Your Excellency, that you shall lend your vast experience in making the National Governing Council in Zambia an effective tool in ensuring that your government performs to the expectations of its citizens.
And Dr. Lewanika has thanked government for nominating her to represent the country and the whole SADC peer review panel of eminent persons. Dr. Lewanika says despite the increasing cases of COVID-19 pandemic that have affected the globe, the African Peer Review of Eminent Persons is already working and discharging their mandate. Dr. Lewanika is the second person in Zambia to be elected to the position of the panel of eminent persons after the late Dr. Sikete Mwale. In the meantime, APRAM National Governing Council Vice Chairperson Anna Masiku says among the many achievements the council boasts of is them hosting of a targeted review mission on the contribution of tourism and mineral resources to the economy of Zambia.
There was also a targeted review on the governance of health and also their response to COVID-19. They really have done an excellent job. They have learned from the experiences of Ebola. So they were able to reactivate those structures, and the mobilization was really very shining. They involved everybody, they mobilized everybody, they had guidelines at a national level, at a district level, at a village level, and through traditional leaders. As a result, they are leading in the world their response to COVID, and they have been recognized by CDC in Atlanta and also by the World Health Organization. It was also the first country to conduct a review under these circumstances of COVID-19. I learned a lot from there. As a new member, it was good to be in Sierra Leone to learn, so maybe I can help out.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court has acquitted the National Democratic Congress and President CHISHIMBA over allegations of racial remarks against Rajesh Verma, an Indian national. In discharging KAMBWILI, the court says the state has failed to establish a prima facie case against Mr. KAMBWILI to warrant a conviction. In this matter, the NDC leader was facing one count of expressing or showing hatred, ridicule, or contempt for persons because of race over a video that went viral on social media where the NDC leader was seen having an altercation with Rajesh Kumar, an Indian national who was operating a road compactor in Lusaka's Munali area. More in this report.
For the first time in his 4 years of appearing before 5 different magistrates, CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI, the leader of National Democratic Congress Party, can now walk with a smile after the court found him with no case to answer in a matter he was accused of expressing hate to an Indian man, a case which took almost a year. On Friday morning, the 4th of December 2020, finally came to its conclusion after Lusaka Magistrate Jennifer Walia acquitted the opposition leader on grounds that the state failed to prove its case against him beyond reasonable doubt. In a ruling, Magistrate Walia stated that the complainant could have told the court if indeed KAMBWILI uttered the alleged words. Unfortunately, the prosecution team never brought him before court to testify, finding that a prima facie case was not established against KAMBWILI. And speaking shortly after his dismissal at the Lusaka's magistrate ground, the NDC leader expressed disappointment with the way he has been treated under this matter.
Ruling of no case to answer by the magistrate. Let me say that it is gratifying, extremely gratifying, that we have a lot of magistrates who follow the law and cannot be politically interfered with. You know what I've gone through under this case. I wouldn't want any Zambian to go through what I've gone through. Don't treat your friends badly the way I've been treated. Surely, we all knew from the beginning I did not commit an offense. But people were just being malicious, were just trying to keep me in the confines of the court so that I cannot go out to campaign, I cannot organize my party, I cannot find money for my children. But surely to waste my time from from February last year to here, almost over a year, I suffered court over a case that I did not commit, a case where they did not even have evidence, where even the complainant could not come and give evidence. Surely, government, stop treating your friends like this.
KAMBWILI, the former Minister of Information and Broadcast Services, was last year charged with one count of expressing or showing hatred, ridicule or contempt for persons because of race, contrary to Section 71 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. KAMBWILI was arrested in February 2019 and charged with a said offense in relation to a video that went viral on social media in which he was filmed having an altercation with an Indian man who was operating on a road compactor in Lusaka's Munali area.
Go back to your country. Foolish. This is very annoying. How can an Indian come all the way from India to come and drive a compactor in Zambia? And job, people have no job. Foolish people.
Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
And moving on in the news, Senior Chief Fele of the Mbunda-speaking people of Maninga district in Northwestern Province has appealed to government for the construction of a general hospital in the area. The traditional leader says the population of Maninga has overgrown over the years, hence overstretching the only mission hospital in the area. Maninga largely depends on Loloma Mission Hospital. The traditional leader is also calling on government through the Ministry of Health to deploy more trained health workers to supplement the existing staffing levels at the Mission Hospital. The senior chief made the appeal when the Health Professions Council, ZAMBIA HCZ Registrar and Chief Executive Officer Wembia Bwaya paid a courtesy call on him at its palace in Maninga district. HPCZ is in Northwestern Province assessing compliance of mission hospitals to national healthcare standards and visiting traditional leaders who are among its key stakeholders in the implementation of the national healthcare standards.
Also in Maninga, you know that we have got only one mission hospital. So we need those people who are well trained. But we have seen that nowadays the government has now started employing people who are working together with those employed with me, missionaries. It's only one hospital we have in Maninga. But people are many. We need also the government to have another hospital, government hospital, which is general hospital. Because I gave land to the government some years ago, but up to now, we haven't seen any improvement because people are many. The population we have in Maninga, I think it's more than Kabompo. People in Kabompo, they are coming here to attend medical treatment. Others, they are coming from Angola. They are coming here. As you know, in Chipichiengeles area, which is about 90-something kilometers from here, they don't have any hospital, only clinical centers. So they come here where they hear that there is doctors.
The Electoral of Zambia, ECZ, has announced that over 4.3 million voters have so far been registered countrywide against the targeted 9 million voters. Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Shindano has since described the figure as progress. Mr. Shindano announces that the registration of prisoners will begin on the 9th of December 2020 and ends on the 11th of December 2020. More in this report.
Only 9 days remaining for the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to meet the targeted 9 million voters, a concern which has remained a daily cry to the majority of citizens who have constantly requested for an extension, but to no avail. Today, the Commission has announced that over 4.3 million voters have been registered countrywide, a number which seems impossible at the moment to meet the target, with only few days remaining for the exercise to close. Chief Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Shindano described this as a good progress seen in the increment of numbers, and the Commission still maintains its earlier position that it will not extend the days.
That when the number is 30, so for you to allude to it, that statistic, there's no improvement. I think that is not correct position. Phase 1, we are at 1.1. Phase 2, we are at 1.598. Phase 3, we are at 1.616. Phase 3 was actually going to be much higher, but for the reason of the logout, which most of you even queried last week when we met. We had a day where we had logout because of the security feature, which in certain instances, because the officers could not register, that was affected. But of course, we are clearly, you can see that the measures that are being put in place are bearing fruit, and we are sure that now, even in the fourth phase, the statistics are going to even be much higher. So we will update, as we have done, come the end of the phase. And in this fourth phase, we'll definitely update you much earlier, because it will be the last phase as it were.
The Commission has also announced that it will embark on the registration of eligible voters in correctional facilities countrywide, which will last from the 9th to 11th December 2020.
Voter registration for persons in lawful custody will be conducted next week from the 9th to 11th December 2020. For purposes of registration, inmates will be registered under the existing polling districts where the correctional facility is located. Correctional facilities that will be serviced in Muchinga, we have Mpika, Luvambalala, Chinsali, and Isoka correctional facilities. In Northwestern, we have Solwezi, Kasempa, Kabompo, Mufumbwe, Zambezi, and Mwinilunga correctional facilities. In Northern, we have Kasama, Mbala, Mporokoso, Luwingu, Milima female correctional facilities. In Wapula, we have Mansa, Kawambwa, Samfya, Chelenge, and Mwense correctional facilities.
Meanwhile, Mr. Shindano has disclosed that 2 people have been arrested in connection with alleged multiple registration and described the image that has been circulating on social media of an underage person alleged to have been registered as a voter as fake.
Arrest, I did mention that those that were arrested as a result of attempts to register twice, so multiple registration. Exactly. But in terms of investigations, like I said, for us as a commission, whether false or true, already that picture of that minor, we have established that it's not authentic. But we shouldn't end there and just leave it as it is, because everything that goes out has the ability to undermine the credibility of the electoral process. What information is put out has the ability to undermine the credibility of the electoral process.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, National Democratic Congress NDC President CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI says ECZ must swallow its pride and extend the voter registration exercise. Mr. KAMBWILI explained it is wishful thinking given the prevailing conditions that the Commission can manage to register about 5 million voters in 9 days. The NDC leader was speaking with the media in Lusaka Friday morning.
WINA argued in that important summit that they can register 9 million people. Now we are remaining with 10 days. 10 days. If in the last 20 days they've registered 4 million, it goes on to say that in the last 10 days they can only do plus or minus 2 million, which would be 6 million. And there is no way we can allow an election in Zambia to go on with less than the number of people that the censors have told us are eligible to vote. This country has got 18, now about 20 million people. How can 4 million people make a decision on behalf of 20 million people? We have to capture the 9 million voters that are required. Otherwise, there will be problems in terms of elections. And the Electoral Commission of Zambia, Chulu, Nshindano, must learn that when you are advised, you don't have the wisdom of the monopoly of wisdom. You must listen from the voice of wisdom. We have advised them several times. And I'm even disappointed that the Vice President keeps on going to Parliament on Friday through Vice President question time, assuring the nation that no, we are sure that ECZ will manage the 9 million people. Insoni Ubuntu. Alatapabansoni, the other thing they can do is that extend this voter registration to February so that the 9 or 10 million people can be captured, for us to have a proper representation of Zambians in the electoral process and in the elections. So to answer your question, there is absolutely no way that Electoral Commission of Zambia can register 9 million in the remaining 10 days.
The leadership movement believes effective economic growth can only be achieved through the participation of women from low-income communities. Movement Secretary General Nyangwe says it is against this background that the party has embarked on a women empowerment program aimed at helping widows and disadvantaged women with startup capital. Speaking to Camnet TV News in an interview, Mr. Sinyangwe says his party aims to empower 1 million widows with funds to start up small businesses, especially those low-income communities countrywide. Mr. Sinyangwe adds that their mobilization agenda for 2021 attaches priority to the empowerment of disadvantaged women.
Movement party, we are doing mobilization. We are everywhere. We are conducting our national recruitment for jobs in 2021. Also, the leadership movement party, we are helping. Want to help 1 million widows. Want to help 1 million widows. So we are everywhere. We are doing our national recruitment. So we are having a program on 13th December 2020 at Ngombe. There, want to empower 1,500 women in Ngombe. Want to empower, we want to give them money so that they can start their businesses. So we are everywhere as a leadership movement party. We are everywhere. We are in every district. We are doing mobilization, and we are led for 2021 general election.
We take our first set of questions. Stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
Take control of your tax planning. Avoid penalties and interest. Returns and payments due by the 10th of the month for declarations of the previous month's transactions are pay as you earn and skills development levy. Returns and payments due by the 14th of the month are turnover tax, withholding tax, mineral royalty tax, tourism levy, gaming and baiting, presumptive tax. Returns and payments for all withholding VAT agents is the 16th of the month. Returns and payments for all VAT registered suppliers is the 18th of the month. Submit the returns and make payments on or before the respective due dates to avoid penalties on the late submission of returns and payments of taxes. Further, note that VAT tax invoices for all business-to-business and business-to-government transactions must bear the TPIN of the buyer without fail. Zambia Revenue Authority. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Vice President INONGE WINA says the Zambian government has reached the Republic of South Africa over that country's finance minister's remarks towards Zambia. On the 27th of November 2020, Boweni said South Africa doesn't wish to become the next Zambia in defaulting on its debt in reference to his country's implementation of the public service deal. Mr. Mboweni's statement raised an outpouring reactions among Zambians, with some saying Zambia has become a laughing stock to the outside world. But meanwhile, in Parliament, Friday morning, Ms. WINA says Zambia, through its diplomatic channels, has reached to South Africa over Mr. Mboweni's statement. Ms. WINA says, going by the mutual diplomatic relations the two countries, it is important to cartel actions that break this bond. The Vice President was responding to a question raised by Chimwemwe, Member of Parliament, who wanted to know what action government is taking over Mr. Mboweni's statement against Zambia.
The statements attributed to the Minister of Finance in South Africa are being handled by government through its diplomatic channels, because government considers the relationship between Zambia and South Africa is very, very important, and these cordial relations should be maintained. And in this manner, there is a system that we channel any grievances on both sides. So that matter is handled at that level.
Zambia National Education Coordinator ZANEC observed that lack of tangible support from society towards those who fall pregnant while in school is contributing to their reluctancy of going back to school. This provides government extending an olive branch to such views. Coalition Executive Director Joe Hamasunga has urged girls to take advantage of the government entry policy if they are to better their lives. Meanwhile, Mr. Hamasunga has appealed to government to revise the policy to allow the girls to go to children in conformity with the compulsory breastfeeding for the first months after delivery for a mother. He says if this issue is not addressed with the urgency it deserves, the virus is going to leave a lasting scar on the nation's child education, because there are already fewer girls than boys in schools.
Ideally, the re-entry policy should have, gone far in ensuring that we make our schools also, conducive for girls to come with their children to school, so that they can comply with the health requirement of, compulsory breastfeeding for the first 6 months. But that being the case, we can see that not much is being done in terms of implementing the entry policy to ensure that we re-enter the girls that have fallen pregnant. And this scar will remain with us for a long time, and it's a pity because we are talking of girls who are already few. The gender parity is already in favor of the boys. So if COVID-19 has come to take away most most of the girls, or a few girls who are still in school, then we should all be concerned. And we hope that, during our engagement with government is going to prioritize the need to come up with effective programs that will ensure that we get these girls back to school after delivery.
ZESCO Committee has expressed concern at the continued vandalism of its installations by members of the general public. The company explains that such actions are a cost to its relations. ZESCO Public Relations Manager Helzel Zulu that in the third quarter of 2020, the company recorded a total of 682 vandalism cases, which indicates an increase in the number of cases compared to the same period last year, where 497 cases were recorded. Ms. Zulu says ZESCO has lost over 1 million kwacha in vandalized properties. She tells the nation that vandalized items, tower members and copper cables, both overhead service and underground cables. Copper Belt is ranked first in vandalism with several arrests made.
Mandevu constituency is the second largest constituency in Zambia by population, the current being 459,929 according to the 2019 random sampling survey by the Zambia Statistics Agency. With such a large population, crime has been on the rise in the constituency. The area already has a police post, but it is in a deplorable state and has proved to be a challenge for both the community and the police to operate, especially that there is no proper sanitation both for the suspects and staff. Further, the police gets flooded during the rainy season. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony of the new Chaisa police post on Friday, 4th December 2020, Mandevu constituency member of parliament Jean Kapata called on the residents not to vandalize the police like it has been witnessed in other areas.
Of course, we want to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chabalungu, for having given us an opportunity to build a new one by providing 577,295 kwacha. So that will be the cost of this new police post, and the money is government money coming from TDF. And as PF, we are very grateful that most of the promises that we promised the people of Chaisa are taking place and they're being done. I want to caution the community to look after their building jealously, because this is their building, and the issues of venging anger on infrastructure should not arise in this community. I know Chaisa people are very gentle people, and I know they wouldn't do that.
Mandevu constituency Chaisa Ward 20 Councillor Ruth Piri says the project is a reflection of CDF being put to good use for the benefit of the community.
This police post, the old one, it's in a very bad state. It was posing danger to the inmates as well as the police officers. It has been a crime. The people of Chaisa complaining all the time, especially when it is rain season. But through her office and my office, we've managed to secure money from CDF to build a modern police post for the Chaisa people. And this will also help us to curb the crime levels in the community.
Kreto Kanza, the Zambia police officer commanding Lusaka Urban District, says the new structure will boost the morale of officers operating at the facility.
The physical aspect of work environment has an impact on employee productivity, performance, concentration. But for this, when it is completed, it will be able to motivate officers.
This development has certainly excited Chaisa residents. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Member of Parliament Jean Kapata said over 577,000 kwacha of government CD is expected to be spent on the construction of a police post in Chaisa. Kapata explains that the construction of the police post aimed at combating high levels of crime in the compound. The project, which has since commenced, is expected to be completed in 14 weeks from the commencement. Ms. Kapata has since urged members of the community to support the initiative.
The Law Enforcement Commission in Lusaka has arrested a Zimbabwean truck driver for trafficking in over 1 ton of cannabis and another for attempting to bribe a DEC officer. Justin Chapinduka, a truck driver of Harare in Zimbabwe, has been arrested for trafficking in 78 bags of dry loose cannabis weighing 1.6 tons, concealed in black plastics found in an improvised compartment of the truck he was driving. The truck driver abandoned his truck when he was intercepted at the Zambia National Service checkpoint in Luangwa. That's on 29 November 2020, and a manhunt was launched for his arrest. On 2nd December 2020, the owner of the truck, Mike Mpinga, a Zimbabwean businessman, together with his truck driver who was on the run, were apprehended at Levy Mall in Lusaka, where the Zimbabwean businessman attempted to bribe a DEC officer with 30,000 kwacha for the release of his truck. The case involving the owner of the truck has since been handed over to the ACC for further investigations and possible prosecution, while the truck driver has been charged with trafficking in 1.6 tons of cannabis. All suspects are in police custody and will appear in court soon.
I sincerely apologize for playing the wrong audio. Conscious to stay.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish! You're glowing. Don't tell me. Yes! I already know the secrets. Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin. Have you had issues in your life and family? Has your life been stagnant or you have been going in circles? All hope is not lost. Your life will bounce back again. Dr. Francis Smiles will be speaking at the Courts of Heaven Conference on Thursday 3rd and Friday 4th December 2020 from 17 hours to 19 hours. On Saturday the 5th of December 2020, Dr. Francis Smiles will conduct a full-day seminar on destroying evil limiting altars. Time 09 hours to 16:30 hours. Lunch and drinks will be on sale. On Sunday, Dr. Miles will conduct a service at 09 hours to 11 hours with your hosts, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Music by Kings Malembe Malembe. Admission is free.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue in international news. The Central African Republic CAR has rejected the candidacy of former President BOZIZE in the December 27 election. BOZIZE planned to run against President Faustin Tadera. The Constitutional Court ruled on Thursday that BOZIZE 74 did not satisfy the good morality requirement for candidates because of an international and United sanctions against him for alleged assassinations, torture and other crimes. BOZIZE, a former general who seized power in a 2003 coup and was overthrown in 2013 rebellion, has denied the accusations against him. His lawyer says the opposition coalition led by BOZIZE would now consider its options. The court validated candidacies of Taudea and 16 others according to an order read by the court's president. Has experienced an acute humanitarian crisis since BOZIZE's overthrow, which led to fighting between main Christian armed groups. We now get into sports news. Former Chipolopolo Boys head coach George Luandamina has joined Tanzanian WINA Premier League as FC. The club has confirmed the former United boss has signed a one-year deal with ice cream makers whose top fell after the dismissal of Romanian coach owing to poor results. This is the second straight for Luandamina, as he coached 27-time Tanzanian men champions SC from 2016 to 2017, helping them win the league title before leaving to join Esco United, where he served from 2018 to September 2020. The move is, however, a shock as it comes barely 2 weeks the Super League's Prison Leopards announced his appointment as technical director. Luandamina has also previously coached other Zambian Super League sides like KAMBWILI Warriors, Green Buffaloes and Red Arrows. The story courtesy of Zamfoot Sports. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. ECZ left with 9 days to register 5 million voters ahead of the 2021 election. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI acquitted over allegations of using hate speech against an Indian contractor. Vice President INONGE WINA says Zambia has engaged South Africa over its finance minister's unwelcome remarks over debt. And in international news, court rejects ex-president BOZIZE'S election candidacy. And in sports news, Chicken George officially ditches prison law to join ice cream makers in Tanzania. The Camnet word verse of the day is coming from the book Jeremiah 31 verse 16, and it reads, "This is what the Lord says, keep your eyes from weeping and your eyes from tears, for the reward for your work will come. This is the Lord's declaration, and your children will return from the enemy's land." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.